This week on my sewing journey, I was making slippers. Now, I didn't make the other one so that I could show you how I did this. And it's a lot simpler than it looks. First thing I did was measured the length and the width that I needed. And then I added a generous seam allowance. And you're going to want to do this because of how many times you have to sew. You have to give this like 2 seam allowances because you're going to be sewing it twice onto. So the first thing you're going to do is cut out the fabric you want touching your foot. Cut out the fabric that's the bottom of it. And I decided to put some inexpensive rubber on the bottom to keep from slipping when I'm walking with it. But then again, I don't know if it's going to work, but let's hope it does. And then you're going to sew all the way around, leaving a large opening to get the foam piece in there. Once you get the foam piece in there, then you just fold over those raw edges and sew it close and set it aside. Next, the toe box area, that's this here. I decided on my foot I wanted where I wanted it, and it worked out to be 6 inches straight down and 4.5 at the narrowest part. But that you'll have to do with your own foot to decide. But next, what you do after you get that decision made and you made your, it looks kind of like a half of an oval. And after you get that done, you're going to fold this down this way, and you're going to want to use very strong elastic. If you don't have very strong elastic, I would recommend using a couple pieces of elastic because this is going to get a lot of stress from the walking. You sew that in, and then you put your elastic through, and then sew one end of the elastic there and the other end of the elastic there, because like I said, it gets a lot of stress. And then this will be coming out a little gathered. So again, remember your seam allowances. And you're going to next make the side wall. I decided 4 inches and to do it on the fold. So it's 4 inches tall. It's on the fold, and it's about 7 long. And you're going to have to take that measurement from your own body because 7 long might not be long enough, or it might be too long. Next, you fold this down just like you did the toe box, and you sew all the way down, and you put your very strong elastic through. And you'll do the same thing, sewing it closed on this end with the elastic and sewing it closed this end with the elastic to keep the gather. Then you sew right sides facing together, the 2 pieces together. That's the seam right here. Sorry about all the little strings on it. Probably should have cleaned them up a little bit better. And this seam right here. Next, you'll flip that to the back side. So this side's sewing. Let's see if I can get it for you. Probably not. All right, wait. Should have used a camera person. Okay, here we go. So we'll just do it partially, pretend it's all the way turned inside out. As you can see, there's a seam there. So you would be sewing it to the side where is the bottom that's going to face the floor. And the side where it's the top would be on the back. And you sew all the way around. And then when you flip it, it should go right to the right side, where you have what you wanted for your foot to touch and what you wanted for the floor to touch. And that's why you need that extra seam allowance for the bottom sole, because it's like you're sewing it twice for each one. And that's the slipper. I hope you like this idea. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing, and happy sewing.